weapons of mass destruction.
The Iraqi regime possesses biological and chemical weapons.
Saddam Hussein's chemical and biological weapons.
The regime is seeking a nuclear bomb.
And his nuclear program.
The Iraqi regime is building the facilities necessary to make more biological and chemical weapons.
Saddam Hussein has worked to rebuild his chemical and biological weapons stock.
And continuing ties to terrorist organizations.
He has also given aid, comfort, and sanctuary to terrorists.
And there are al-Qaeda terrorists inside Iraq.
Including al-Qaeda members.
That Saddam has resumed his efforts to acquire nuclear weapons.
His missile delivery capability and his nuclear program.
Iraq has one of the largest customer bases in the entire Arab world. It has one of the world's largest supplies of oil. And so it's time for the United States to start thinking of Iraq as a business opportunity.
How do you explain her being the architect and champion behind the war, the military action to overthrow Gaddafi in Libya? And when you look at the result of that action and that mission that she set out upon, we've got a failed state full of chaos, thousands of lives lost, and now ISIS and al-Qaeda having a stronghold in that country.
I am very pleased to welcome Minister Gaddafi here to the State Department. We deeply value the relationship between the United States and Libya. We have many opportunities to deepen and broaden our cooperation. Thank you. We're delighted you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
When he moved on his own people, threatening a massacre, genocide.
The American people were not being given the truth about a cause for war. The Secretary took a leadership role in pushing for war, and it wasn't supported by the facts. Libya is now a failed state. Jihadists have taken over. It became an incubator of terrorism as a result of this very dangerous and wrong-headed intervention.
Hillary, her militarism is absolutely shocking. She almost single-handedly did the Libyan war. Defense Department was against it, and she persuaded the White House that it was an easy topple. Without knowing that in a tribal society with nothing to replace it, you would have civil war, sectarian killing spilling into Africa, weapons everywhere, Mali, Central Africa. The huge amount of geography now has been destabilized because of the Libyan overthrow.
The power vacuum has allowed ISIS to build its most dangerous outpost on the Libyan coast. Just 300 miles from Europe, Libya is a failed state.
Inside the Obama administration, there was a deep division over whether the U.S. should intervene militarily. One of the most hawkish members of Obama's cabinet was Hillary Clinton.
Worst mistake?
Probably failing to plan for the day after intervening in Libya.
Why is she championing this war to overthrow the Syrian government of Assad and essentially promising to escalate that war if she's elected as president by implementing a so-called no-fly zone? Taking this action would put us directly in conflict with Russia.
At the core of that resolution is an agreement I negotiated in June of 2012 in Geneva, which set forth a ceasefire.
Hillary Clinton, for example, said that she negotiated the 2012 ceasefire. There was no ceasefire in Syria. She was the reason why the ceasefire never took place then, because she has backed a CIA-led attempt at regime change that has led to a bloodbath.
I do believe, and I've said this, that we should be putting together a coalition to support a no-fly zone. So when I was Secretary of State, advocated, and I advocate today, a no-fly zone and safe zones. We need some leverage with the Russians.
It's now Hillary Clinton who wants to start an air war with Russia over Syria by calling for a no-fly zone. We have 2,000 nuclear missiles on hair-trigger alert, and Mikhail Gorbachev, the former premier of the Soviet Union, is saying we are closer to a nuclear war than we have ever been. Under Hillary Clinton, we could slide into nuclear war very quickly from her declared policy in Syria.
What about the option of controlling the airspace so that barrel bombs cannot be dropped?
Right now, Senator, for us to control all of the airspace in Syria would require us to go to war against Syria and Russia. That's a pretty fundamental decision that certainly I'm not going to make.
The issue of war and nuclear weapons and the potential for nuclear war is actually Hillary's policies, which are much scarier than Donald Trump, who does not want to go to war with Russia. He wants to seek modes of working together, which is the route that we need to follow.